But they moved down to Daudu. That was the first place Idoma people settled when they come down to Nigeria. Then they moved from Daudu to Apa. The whole Idoma people as a whole, that is, we are about 14 ethnic groups, like Ado, like Agatu, like Otukpo, Utupa, Edumoga, Boju, Orokam, Opoga, Oupa. There are about 14 of them. When they settled in Apa, some of them now moved because of the war, phenomena of Syria, that make them to move. Because of the war, most of them come to settle in Utukpo, the place called Okoklo, that is the river. From here, the Doma people now move and separated to various ethnic groups. We are having almost about 9 local governments in Benue State.
The heterogeneity and proximity in geographical borders between ethnicities have fostered peaceful coexistence among regions in Nigeria. A good example is some parts of the Igbos in Enugu State are sharing borders with the Idomas of Benue State. The geographical proximity between these two ethnic groups has no doubt fostered peace and unity, thereby creating a common ground where the two socializations meet for trade and other commercial activities. Mr. Kelechi Chima, an Igbo indigene that lives with some Idoma people in Enugu State, speaks on his relationship with them.
We are farmers. That is what we are mostly known for. We cultivate yam, cassava, corn, millet, rice, soya beans, benefit. We cultivate melon, all sorts of crops, because the land is so fertile that whatever you put in, you get it. What we cultivate, 25% of it are meant for sale.
So that was an Idoma music. Hope you enjoyed it. Enugu State is a mainland state in eastern Nigeria. Its capital is Enugu, from which the state derives its name. The word Enugu from Inu Ugu means the top of the hill. Enugu is home to the Igbo people and also one of the 3 major ethnic groups in Nigeria. The indigenes are known for their industrious nature and their major occupation is trading. The Igbos are predominantly Christians and are known to be very hospitable. These and other factors ensure that they have peaceful coexistence with other tribes. Ikechukwu Eze is an Igbo man. He speaks on the hospitable nature of the Igbos.
My people are really hospitable because if a stranger visits, a visitor visits, the person is made comfortable. In fact, I think the man will make a stranger more comfortable than his own brother. We make sure we take care of the person, give the person good accommodation, give the person food. In fact, if it is a family where you have maybe a polygamous family, you discover that when you come to that family, almost every woman in the compound wants to cook food and give you. They always are in the morning, they will come, in the afternoon they will come, in the night they will come. But we are really hospitable.
The Igbos of Enugu State and the Idoma people of Benue State share common boundaries. This proximity encourages cross-border migration and great collaboration between both ethnic groups. Mr. Philip Adam tells us more on some of the factors that encourage peaceful coexistence between the two tribes.
There are some parts of Enugu which are purely of Idoma extraction. The areas like Iti, they are purely Idoma people, but in Enugu State. They speak Idoma friendly, they speak Igbo friendly, they speak Igala friendly. Because we share boundary, we emulate them. The Igbo people are good in trading. Idoma people emulate them. We accommodate the Igbos, they accommodate us because we assimilate our culture. You hardly can differentiate an Idoma man from an Igbo man.
The Igbos have a very rich culture. This is evident in their mode of dressing, traditional dances, festivals, just to mention a few. Well, that's one of the Igbo's traditional music there. Their cuisine stands them out among other ethnic groups. One of the detectable dish and soup peculiar to the Igbo ethnic group is onugbu, which is made from bitter leaves and many other exotic vegetable soups and sauces. They have indigenous homemade snacks such as abacha, fondly referred to as African salad, and steamed bambara pudding, locally called okpa, amongst others. The Igbos have beautiful and versatile dances like the Atilogu and Egedege. These dances are usually high, energetic, and are performed during important festivals and weddings. Mrs. Chika Aniago is from the Igbo tribe of Enugu State.
We have many festival periods in Enugu State. One there are some parts in Enugu State that do official form, like the festival they normally do in August. They have some that they do New Yam Festival too. So that is what they still use it as a New Yam Festival. That's the time they normally bring down their masquerade. There are some places again that they call Egwasi Festival. That is in areas like Eke. This is the entertainment that they use to entertain people. If you want to attend this festival, you always like to go back. And that is why almost all the people from that, even the nearby people, they always go to that area because of this festival. And that they normally do it in every May.
Intertribal marriages are some of the factors that can foster development, cultural exchange, and peaceful coexistence. The Igbos have gained harmonious bonds through marriages with the Idomas living in Enugu State. Mr. Philip Adam, an Idoma man from Benue State, speaks on factors that foster peaceful coexistence between the Idomas and their hosts.
One of the major factors that made us to live peacefully with the Igbos of Enugu mostly we are accommodating. You see, what we do know, the Enugus are also great farmers like the Idomas, and we assimilate easily. So since we share border with them, we treat them like our brothers and sisters. We give our daughters out of marriage to them. And that is why if you go to Enugu today, you hear people bearing or cheering.
Mr. Abba attributes the peaceful coexistence between the two tribes to understanding and cooperation.
The Idomas and the Enugu people don't have much difference in the way of their behavior. And we are living together like one brother and share everything together. Even in my own father's compound, we are living like one brother. I don't see much difference between them and Idoma. If you see an Enugu man, see an Idoma man, they live together like one family. They sleep together, they share together. Most of the Idoma people hear Igbo. And most of the Igbo people from Enugu, most of them hear Idoma. If you ask them critically, they hear Idoma. Most of them, they don't have differences. They are one of the benefits, as I said. They don't have problem with each other. They share almost everything in common.
Peace among different ethnic groups of people can only be sustained with minds free of geographical and tribal discrimination. Mr. Egade James speaks on how Idoma people overcome boundaries to coexist peacefully with the Igbos.
They normally come to our side and live in our area because they always find a breaking shop. When they come, they bring things from their place. And what we have in our place, we join together. Then we meet at the same market, with different markets. We pour a cake up there. That is how we meet. And if they used to buy local beans, they call it okpehe. And when they will come with they call it old uba. And that's how we interact with ourselves. According to our culture, you respect my culture, I respect your culture. That is how we live peacefully.
Peace is important for every individual in order to live a life free from violence or crisis. to guarantee safety of lives and properties for economic, social, and developmental growth, every well-meaning citizen of any nation is urged to imbibe the virtue of tolerance so that we can coexist in mutual respect and love. And it's on that note, we draw the curtains on the program's Bonds of Harmony, a program that highlights the factors that enhance peaceful coexistence amongst different ethnic groups in Nigeria. Focus was on the Idoma people of Middle Belt, Nigeria, living among the Igbos in Enugu State, southeastern Nigeria. Join us again next week, same time and same frequency, for another edition of the program. You can share your views, comments, and opinions by writing to the producer, Bonds of Harmony, through our email at bondsprograms24@gmail.com. Visit the website www.von.gov.ng. Follow us on Twitter. Our Twitter handle is @VoiceOfNigeria. That is @VoiceOfNigeria. Production was by Omolara Adeyemi. Lucy Ofobote was the studio manager, and I am Rebecca Yunusa Avia. Thanking you so much for listening. To have a wonderful time.
No country makes progress when terror reigns. Our armed forces are doing their part, fighting to end terrorism and keep us safe. They're trying to win the world, but you and I, we need to do our part to make their job easier.
When anyone tells you to join in promoting terror, tell them no, it does no one any good. It is terrorism.
Don't confuse it. Don't let anyone deceive you.
The sooner we end terrorism, the sooner the men, women, and children affected can get back to their lives, and the sooner we can get on with building a new Nigeria. We can do this with your help.
Hey, if you suspect something, say something.
Well, the program Bonds of Harmony comes up Sundays at 18 hours GMT and showcases the way various cultural groups live together in peace and harmony. It's the broadcast of programs from the English service of Voice of Nigeria. In about a quarter of an hour at 18:30 GMT, we bring you the program Theatre on the Air. You will have a delightful drama presentation, after which we hand over to our Food for Day service. But first, it's the Sports Roundup. Don't go away.
For excellent programming, news, views, and analysis of issues from an African perspective, Voice of Nigeria.
Hello and welcome to Sports Roundup, coming to you from the services of Voice of Nigeria. Sports Roundup is a 15-minute sports program that brings to you major happenings within the week in the world of sports. In this edition, Nigerian League Management Company says the current season in the Top Flight Championship will come to a close on the 9th of June. Consistency and performance of the athletes at international competitions in the last few years and the Nigerian volleyball national team participation at this year's Character Beach Volleyball Cup in Qatar. Mali's football governing body appoints Abel Akandawere Sadi head coach of the National Association of Athletic Federation IAAF turned down Russia's appeal for reinstatement for the 10th time. With barely 2 months to the opening game of the FIFA Under-20 World Cup in Poland, more than 100,000 tickets have already been sold via FIFA official website. These and other top stories will be coming your way in a moment. Stay tuned.
Welcome back. We begin the program with the tidbits. The Nigerian Football Federation, NFF, says Super Falcons will play more international friendly games as they continue preparations for the FIFA Women's World Cup in France. The Falcons, who recently came back from international tournaments in Cyprus and China, will clash with the Spaniards between April 2nd and 9th in a high-profile international friendly encounter. The African champions are in Group A alongside host France, Korea Republic, and Norway. Nigeria's male basketball senior national team, the Tigers, will face Russia, Argentina, and South Korea at the 2019 FIBA World Cup. The FIBA Basketball Cup 2019 draws was conducted before a crowd of 8,000 spectators at the Shenzhen Bay Arena in China. The Tigers have been drawn in Group B and will play their group games in Wuhan, with familiar foes Argentina looking to be their biggest opponent. Nigeria's first appearance at the global stage, the South Americans beat them 68-51 in their Group D game at the 1999 edition of the 16-team FIBA World Championship in Greece. The draws set out the path for the 32 participating teams in their journey to be crowned world champions in FIBA's flagship competition on September 15th. The management of the Nigerian National League (NNL) says the proposed annual general meeting (AGM) and draws for the 2018-2019 league season will hold on Wednesday, 28th March 2019 in Abuja, Nigeria's capital. Chief Operating Officer of the league body, Lawrence Katke, said only clubs that have made full payment for registration will be included in the list for the draws. Aaron Spencer Jr. has retained IBF World Weatherweight title for the third time after defeating world champion Mickey Gracia by a unanimous decision in Dallas. Judges scored the bout 120-107, 120-108, 120-108 in the 29-year-old Seville. Previously undefeated, Gracia suffered his first loss in 40 professional fights. Gracia, who moved up 2 weight divisions for his welterweight debut, missed out on the chance to join the likes of Floyd Mayweather, Tony Hanks, Manny Pacquiao, Sugar Ray Leonard, and Oscar De La Hoya in winning world titles across 5 weight classes. Welcome back. If you are just joining us, it's Sports Roundup coming to you from the services of Voice of Nigeria. And we move into the main program. Nigerian clubs Enugu Rangers and Loving Stars of Makurdi have all crashed out of the Continental Championship. Loving Stars finished third in their group after winning their last group game on Sunday. Loving Stars, playing in the CAF Champions League, defeated ASEC Mimosa by 2 goals to nil. John Brown, a CAF C licensed coach based in Lagos, told Voice of Nigeria when asked what could be responsible for the early crashing out of the Nigeria domestic club side from the African Continental Championship.
Well, I will start by saying it's an unfortunate situation, considering the pedigree of the Nigerians when it comes to football in Africa and the world at large. And, having 2 teams in one of the biggest club football competitions in Africa, not being able to go so far, the competition actually is so unfortunate. I will attribute it not only to lack of management, but sometimes you wonder if some of these clubs are actually professional club sites.
How?
Whereby clubs don't have stadiums of their own, they don't have adequate facilities to work with, and sometimes, and as well, there's their programs, no continuation in their programs. So, every player wants to go abroad to play football. After just one season in a club, maybe you do well. Before you know it, you see that these players are no longer with those teams. Everybody wants to go in search of greener pasture, leaving the clubs with people or no players to rely on.
That was John Brown, a CAF-C licensed coach, head coach, and technical director of Home of Talent Football Academy, Hotspur, based in Lagos.
It's unfortunate situation considering the pedigree of the Nigerian when it comes to football in Africa and the world at large. And, having two teams in one of the biggest club football competitions in Africa, not being able to go so far, the competition actually is so unfortunate. I will attribute it not only to lack of management, but sometimes you wonder if some of these clubs are actually professional clubs, right? Whereby clubs don't have stadiums of their own, they don't have adequate facilities to work with, and as well, there's no continuation in their programs.
Following many calls from football lovers in Nigeria for progressions of footballers in the country's national teams from the under-8 grade, there has been a positive development as Kelechi Nwakali has been invited to the Olympic Eagles, the under-20 national team in preparation for the Africa Under-20 Nations Cup qualifiers. For details, let's join correspondent Lekon Chawande.
Arsenal loanee Kelechi Nwakali is in contention to make his international debut for the Olympic Eagles in an under-23 African Cup of Nations qualifier against Libya in Tunisia on March 20. The FC Porto B Starlet is among the foreign-based professionals invited to beef up the squad by coach Imama Amakakabo. Nwakali has vowed to join the Nigerian side as they get together in Abuja before they fly to Tunisia for the first leg match against the North Africans. It should be recalled that Nwakali was the player of the tournament at the 2015 FIFA Under-17 World Cup and was captain of the Flying Eagles squad that did not qualify for the Under-20 World Cup in 2017. Portuguese-based professionals Kelechi John and Tosin Kehinde are already training with the Dream Team with a view to a possible inclusion in the traveling party to Tunisia. Coach Amakakabo said he was proud and happy both players are in camp ahead of the tie.
Yes, they're part of the squad we're expecting, and we're glad that they are in town. We have to give them rest for them to be able to recover, and hopefully they'll start training with this week, like every other one that's expected. Within now and the next 1 week, we expect our invited players to be coming, and I think we'll start serious work for them.
That was Coach Imama Amakakabo of Nigeria Under-23 team. My name is Lekon Chawande.
Thank you, Lekon. The Nigerian Volleyball Federation has been given wild card from the Qatar Volleyball Association to participate at this year's Character Beach Volleyball Cup. This was as a result of the consistency and performance of the athletes at international competition in the last few weeks. Once again, correspondent Lekon Chawande tells us more.
For its consistency in the last few years and with the performance of our athletes at international competitions, the Nigerian Volleyball Federation got a wild card from the Qatar Volleyball Association to compete at this year's Karata Beach Volleyball Cup. Top beach volleyball players will star in the extravaganza to be organized inside Qatar Atmosphere Theatre, Qatar from 12 to 16 March 2019. Nigeria is the only African team invited for the 4-star event the FIF has allotted in the Mid-East. The championship is the second of the 10 competitions called FIF 4 stars to be organized during the 2019 session by the International Volleyball Federation worldwide. Competition in Doha will see the participation of 56 teams from 28 different countries. My name is Lekon Chawande.
As the FIFA Under-20 World Cup in Poland draws nearer with barely 2 months to the opening game, more than 100,000 tickets have already been sold via FIFA official website. Correspondent Salisu Muhammad reports that the FIFA Under-20 World Cup is FIFA's second oldest competition and the first FIFA tournament to be hosted by Poland.
With just over 2 months to go until the opening match of the FIFA Under-20 World Cup in Poland, more than 100,000 tickets have already been sold via the FIFA official website. The most sought-after matches are the final and the 3 group fixtures of the Polish national team, including the opening on 23 March in Lodz. The FIFA Under-20 World Cup is FIFA's second oldest competition and the first FIFA tournament to be hosted by Poland. Previous editions of the tournament have featured such global stars as Messi, Maradona, Iniesta, Griezmann, Salah, and Piqué. My name is Salisu Muhammad.
Thank you, Salisu. Abel Akandawere has been appointed head coach of the Malawi Women's Football Senior National Team. Once again, correspondent Alifu Muhammad reports that Akandawera replaced Maggie Chimbo Sadi ahead of the Tokyo 2020 Olympic qualifiers next month against Mozambique.
Malawi has appointed Ebel Nkandawere as head coach of the women's national football team ahead of the Tokyo 2020 Olympic qualifier against Mozambique next month. He replaces Maggie Chombo Sadiq, who has been deployed to the post of technical advisor. The Football Association of Malawi FAN has maintained Andrew Chikosi as an assistant coach, joined by Nagnebad Kazua, whereas Catherine Chikandula remains team manager. The first leg matches will be played on the weekend of April 1st and 9th. The overall winner between Malawi and Mozambique will have a date with Kenya at the next round. My name is Haris Muhammad.
The International Association of Athletics Federation, IAAF, has turned down Russia's appeal for reinstatement for the 10th time, having requested the same assurances when it upheld the ban in December. Correspondent Lekon Showande reports that the IAAF says Russian athletes will remain banned from international competition till further notice.
The International Association of Athletics Federation, IAF, says Russian athletes will remain banned from international competitions until further notice. The IAF banned Russia in 2015 because of evidence of state-sponsored doping. The ban will remain in place until samples and data from Moscow former anti-doping laboratory are made available. This was the 10th time the IAF has turned down Russian appeal for restatement, having requested the same assurances when it upheld the ban in December. The decision puts the IAF at odds with other sporting bodies such as World Anti-Doping Agency WADA and the International Olympic Committee IOC, who have revoked their own suspensions on Russia. My name is Lekon Showande.
And with that report by Lekon Showande, we come to the end of this week's edition of the program. Join us next week for yet another interesting package. On behalf of my colleagues Lekon Showande, Salisu Muhammad, and Telomini,
from the center of unity, Abuja, to the shores of the Atlantic Ocean, Lagos, this is
Well, I hope you have had your fill on everything sports from around the world. The Sports Roundup comes up Sundays at 18:15 GMT. We have a similar program called Talking Sports, where we seek out guests from around the world of sports to discuss and analyze developments from the sport.